I mean, it's Cooper Rush worth 2.5 points? I would hope Quinn Ewers put up a decent stat line against Arizona State. If he didn't, we have a real problem.
You can say the same thing about Creighton. Okay, they had the one good game against Kansas at home.
When Toast talks about the kicking market, it's like some earth is flat shit. Andy, true or false, this is going to be a dog walking.
Dog walking. This is my dog walking of the day. I think it's going to be very ugly. Dog walking. I think this is going to be ugly.
Hey, get the sauce. What's up, everybody? Hope you all enjoyed your holiday. It's super late, so I would imagine most of you are watching this in the morning. Just going to run through some NBA games real quick. As far as today, lost some money. Started off great, too. Specifically the Lakers and then those two NFL overs. And you know what's crazy is I added those three last minute. If I only had one bet placed. Oh, no, I had two bets placed, and I would have went 1-0-1, but I added those two NFL overs. Man, those second two NFL games, not exactly a ton of fun to watch. Wasn't the best day in terms of NFL. Not the most fun games to watch. I suppose Cowboys-Commanders was interesting there. But, yeah. Anyway, we got Raptors on the road in Washington, and I did place a bet in this one. I think the place to look in this game is the pace. The Raptors have dramatically slowed down their pace. Check this out. So this is the Raptors game logs right here. Right here is pace, this column. I'm not sure if you can see it on the screen. This is pace right here. Look at their last 7 games. Completely slowed down this Raptors team. So this Raptors team is running a slow pace. The only time they speed the game up is when they get out in transition, which is actually frequently. We'll talk about that in a second. But in terms of when the offense sets up, it's a slow-paced offense. And honestly, same goes for the Wizards. You scroll up here, Wizards are running at a pretty fast pace, but they've actually talked about it. Wizards have slowed things down as well. You take a look up here. Last 5 games, Wizards 26th in pace, Raptors 27th. Last 10 games, Raptors 28th, Wizards 18th. I think we're going to see a slow-paced game, and that alone is enough to get me on an under. That combined with the fact that we're talking about 2 bad offenses. In fact, the Raptors have had the worst offense in the NBA in the last 10 games. Dead last. Third. Maybe I'll zoom in so you can see this better. I didn't do injuries for this one yet. One sec. All right, Barnes quickly. Barrett's out. Hurdle's out. Walters. Murray Boyle's playing. He's listed as questionable. I'll keep him in. Grady Dick. Sounds good. And for the Wizards, McCollum, George, Sarr. Yeah, he's back. Came back last game. Middleton. Yep, he'll probably play. Bagley. He's back. Kispert's out. Whatever. But yeah, what I wanted to talk about is this Raptors team likes to get out in transition, right? They do that from forcing turnovers. They're top 5 in the NBA in forcing turnovers, but this Wizards team has been protecting the basketball. Look at this. First in turnover rate in their last 5 games, 7th in the last 10 games. The Wizards are actually, there's not a ton of things the Wizards do well, but they've been protecting the basketball. Toronto may lead the NBA in transition frequency, but 75% of their transition opportunities come off turnovers. So if the Wizards are able to protect the basketball here like they have been, we should see Toronto's fast break opportunities limited. Look, I'm worried about, I'm not taking the Wizards here. I'm worried about second chance opportunities. Toronto should be able to grab plenty of offensive rebounds. I mean, the Wizards defense is just so bad. We just saw the Wizards play a slow-paced game against the Hornets, and they still gave up 120 points. So this Wizards defense is that bad. But I did take the under in this game. I'm on under 228.5 is actually what I got. It looks like you could still get 227. Oh, wow. You could still get a flat 227. It looks like is the best you can get right now. Someone said, I've watched every Wizards game. This is a solid matchup for him. All right. I won't be taking him. I'll chill on my under. All right. Heat, Hawks. Bam Adebayo's questionable for this game. So there's no, one second. All right, so there's no Tyler Hero. We know that. Bam Adebayo, I'm going to put him as out. Hawkes, Davion Mitchell, Wiggins, Ware, Fontecchio, Drew Smith. No Rozier. Pell Larson is back, though, isn't he? Is Pell Larson back? I'm pretty sure, yeah, he's listed as probable. So I think Pelle Larsson and Jovic are both coming back for this one. So he's getting a couple guys back, but they might be without Bam Adebayo, which is huge on the Hawks side. Jalen Johnson starting to play well for the Hawks. Johnson, I think it's everyone except Porzingis, I believe. Yeah, pretty sure all these guys are in except Porzingis. Yeah, we'll roll with that. But anyway, the question in this one is what is going to give. And what I mean by that is the Miami Heat basketball team finally going to score some points? Just to give you an idea of how bad this offense has been. This offense has fallen off a cliff. They need Tyler Hero back in the worst way. You see Tyler Hero got hurt right here. December 5th. That's when Tyler Hero got hurt again. He was hurt earlier as well. Look at the offense. 106.9, 102.9, every single game. They've played one good offensive game since December 1st. So this Heat team just can't score right now. And with Tyler Hero out and possibly no Bam Adebayo, it's tough to have any faith in the Heat offensively right now. But here's the thing. You could say the same exact thing for the Hawks. Look at the Hawks defense. They're just getting lit up every single game. So what has to give? Is the Miami Heat, are they finally going to score points? Are the Hawks finally going to play a good defensive game here? It's tough to say. I can't picture the Hawks stopping anybody, but the way the Heat have played offensively, and I don't know who I would trust there on that side of the ball. The Hawks can't. The Hawks' biggest player right now is Okongwu at 6'8" with Porzingis out, so they just have no size. So I would imagine Miami is able to get into the paint and score. They've just been so bad on this side of the ball. Both teams are on the first leg of a back-to-back. I don't really care about that. If Adebayo doesn't play, I'll put the Hawks up if Adebayo doesn't play, but I don't really have a ton of interest in this one, for being honest. Hornets Magic, I bet this game. Might not be my strongest wager here, but we'll see. All right, Hornets. Kalkbrenner is out along with Mason Plumlee. So that means Diabate is going to get most of the minutes at center, which he kind of has been anyway. So what rotation they've been rocking with? Colin Sexton's back. Do I have him? Yep. Who am I missing? Who's been playing here? Oh, this guy's been playing. All right, and the Magic have all kinds of injury concerns right now. Well, two major ones. Suggs probably not playing in this game. And then obviously no Franz Wagner. De Silva might come back for this one. He's actually listed as probable, so I'll leave him in. And Bitadze is also questionable. I'll leave him out. Put these two guys in. All right. So I bet Charlotte in this one plus 6.5. And look, I know the Orlando's coming off a 4-game road trip. They haven't looked good. Orlando hasn't looked good at all. You would think maybe back in Orlando, back at home, maybe they get back on track. But I'm not sure how good we believe this Orlando team is right now with no Suggs and no Wagner and maybe no Bitadze either. They're just 2-8 against the spread in their last 10. Look, they're going to be able to get into the interior here against the Hornets defense. They're really limited at center like you talked about. But on the other side of the ball, Orlando is not playing defense right now, and this Charlotte offense is starting to click. It's an offense that likes to take a lot of threes, but they create a lot of those shots from driving into the paint. And, man, look at Orlando's interior defense. It's you don't even recognize this team. Here's shots allowed, frequency in the paint, efficiency. They're getting cooked on the interior. I mean, this is a Hornets team that likes to set up shots via the drive, and, I mean, Orlando's just terrible on the interior right now defensively. And now that we're starting to see one of the downsides of this Hornets offense has been turnovers. They've been sloppy with the basketball. But I mean, we just saw now that Colin Sexton's back, they've got a lot of talent on the backcourt. We just saw 35 assists to 6 turnovers against the Wizards. Now, that's the Wizards who put zero pressure defensively on anybody, but it looks like they're starting to do a better job protecting the basketball. Con Knippel, man, if you haven't watched this kid play, fastest NBA player ever to 100 3-point shots. He's from Duke. He's the rookie there for the Hornets. I'm on Charlotte plus 6.5 in this one. The way Orlando's playing with the injuries, I think this number should be 3.5, 4. I know they're the much better team, but the Hornets are coming into this one with some momentum, and Orlando's just kind of a shell of itself right now. So I'm on Charlotte plus 6.5 in this one. All right, what's next? Celtics Pacers. Yeah, the Portland did almost get him. He said, "My Blazers." You're a Blazers fan. Sorry to hear that. All right, Celtics. Who we got for the Celtics in this one? Brown, White, Pitcher. Obviously, no Tatum. Simons, Hauser, Hugo. Jordan Walsh is back, right? Yeah, he's listed as probable. Who's this? Yeah, he's playing. We'll go right there. Those 9. On the Pacers side, good luck trying to figure out who's playing right now for this team. We got Siakam, Mathurin, Nemard, no Halliburton, no Neesmith, no Thompson, no Shepard. These guys are playing. Walker's playing. McConnell's playing. Furphy's playing. We'll roll with those 9 there. Look at the projected score, 120 to 103. As you can see, my model isn't exactly on point at the moment. But all right, Celtics Pacers. This is one of the bets I'm considering placing. I haven't placed this yet. I'm considering laying it here. I know these teams just played, and it was actually in Boston, and it was a somewhat close game. Let me get the graphic up real quick. My Celtics. There we go. So these two teams just played on the 22nd, and Boston won by, I think, like 7 or 8. A little bit of a weird game. The Pacers got off to a crazy hot start shooting the three-point shot. I think they hit 8 or 9 threes in the first quarter in the game. I kind of feel bad for Indiana. The coach is stuck on 999 wins. But this team's just not good right now. They just do not have the horses to compete. Maybe you could say this is kind of a tough matchup for the Celtics because we know Celtics, right? What the Celtics, all they do is shoot, right? They don't attack the paint. And actually, that plays into the strength of the Pacers defense. They actually have nice looking numbers on the perimeter, but it doesn't matter. I mean, Jaylen Brown should have no problems getting into the paint in this one, getting into the interior, doing whatever he wants. Boston shot just 30% from 3 when they played a few nights back. Pacers have the worst offense in the NBA, or arguably one of the worst. I think it might be the worst offense in the NBA. But look at this. They've played an easy schedule, too. In their last 10 games, they're 22nd in strength of schedule, and they're still one of the worst offenses in the NBA. Meanwhile, Boston's top 10 in strength of schedule, and they're doing just fine. In fact, they're starting to figure things out, it looks like. So I think Boston runs them out of the gym here. This is one I was considering, but 8.5, yeah, I don't know. Not operating with the most confidence right now. I'm still just getting into the swing of things for NBA. So, Philadelphia, Chicago. How many people are in here watching right now? 70 people. It's 3:51 a.m. All right, so we got the problem with this one. I would like to bet the Sixers here at +1.5. The reason, the wrench that's thrown in here is a lot of the guys on the Sixers are dealing with the flu right now. Edgecombe's one of them. Embiid's also questionable. I don't think he's dealing with the flu. I think his is just the knee, the injury management. Grimes is another one. Barlow's another one. If all those guys play, and when I say all those guys, I don't really care about Embiid. I'm looking at Barlow and Edgecombe are the 2 I want. Grimes hasn't been shooting the ball very well this year. But those 3 guys are all dealing with the with an illness right now. So if they all play, I think Sixers +1.5 is the move. On the Bulls side, they got pretty much everybody though. They're fully healthy and they're playing pretty well too. All right. So Chicago's offense is cruising right now. I don't know if you've noticed or not. So you could see they kind of got healthy around here. They got Kevin Huerter back here. They got DeSunmo back here. Look at their last 5 games. Every single game has a pace of 107 possessions or more. So they've just been sprinting in their last 4 games. Now, they played Cleveland and Atlanta, 2 teams that are down to get into a shootout. So it could be the opponents a little bit. Look at the offensive rating. And this offense is just cruising right now. But again, they played the same opponent twice. So we're only talking about 2 opponents. But Chicago got healthy. The offense looks great. I don't want to just sleep on this Sixers defense. They've been surprisingly good this year. They're actually top 5 in the NBA in the last 10 games. And if Paul George and Edgecombe are both out there, gives them a lot of flexibility. Those are 2 really good wing defenders that have played well together. I know Edgecombe's just a rookie, but the Sixers defense has been strong. And surprisingly, with or without Embiid, they've actually been strong protecting the rim as well. So I would put the way that Cleveland was playing without Evan Mobley, and then, of course, the Hawks have the worst defense maybe we've ever seen. I'm not going to throw the Bulls a parade for lighting it up against those two teams. The Sixers have been playing great defense, and if the guys are on the floor, I think they're able to slow the Bulls' offense down a little bit. And on the other side, the Bulls can't play defense, and should be a great matchup for Maxey. Now, Josh Giddey did go off against the Sixers earlier in the season. He had a 19-point triple-double. So they did have problems with Giddey earlier in the season, but the Sixers defense really figured it out. And if those guys are on the floor, I think Philly plus 1.5 is the move here. And I also like how the Bulls have a division rivalry game against the Bucks the very next day. That game's on Saturday. Not that I don't know if that necessarily means a ton, but Bulls and Bucks is a division rivalry. I don't think the Bulls would overlook or anything. They're on a winning streak. They probably want to keep it going, but it is something to consider that the Bulls also have the Bucks, their division rivals, on deck the next day. So this is where I want to go on this one, Sixers plus 1.5. But I don't want to bet this and then find out Edgecombe and Barlow aren't playing. So the illness is kind of throwing a wrench into things. They were out with the illness on the 23rd. You would think 3 days later. I mean, how long does the flu last? Like, they got the best trainers, man. It's the flu. Sixers plus 1.5 for me. Oh, I just did that with the wrong graphics on the screen. Oh, yeah. Whoops. Bucks, Grizzlies. What a tough one here. All right. All right, what do we got for Bucks? All these guys are good. Ryan Rollins is playing really well for Milwaukee, by the way. Obviously, Giannis. Sims is playing. Prince is out. Gary Harris has been seeing the floor. Cole Anthony, has he been playing? 13 minutes in the last 3. Yeah, I'll put Cole Anthony in. All right, for the Grizzlies. Yeah. He's playing, questionable. I'll take him out because he didn't play last game. Edie's out. Morant's questionable. Let's leave Morant out. Landell, Jerome, nope. Caldwell Pope's playing. Vince Williams is also out. Konchar's out. Pippen's out. Brandon Clark's out. This guy's playing. G.G. Jackson's playing. This team is injured like this every single year. All right. So Bucks, Grizzlies. So my first thought was I wanted to take the under. I feel like our first thought when we look at a Milwaukee Bucks game should be low scoring. They run a very slow pace and they can't score. Can't lay it out any more clearly than that. They run a very slow pace and they can't score. In the last 10 games, they're 26th in pace, 25th in offensive efficiency. So originally when I looked, I'm like, oh, this has got to be under. This is a high number. 226.5 you can get for a Bucks game. The Bucks, they went like 5 games in a row without even getting above 105 points. So that's a high number for a Bucks game. But then you look at the Grizzlies' recent pace, and are they turning things up? I mean, look at their last. Grizzlies are starting to run, and we know the Memphis is down to run. We've seen it in past years. We haven't seen it as much this year with the new coach. Remember, Taylor Jenkins isn't there anymore. But it looks like maybe the Grizzlies are starting to open things up here. And if John Morant's going to play, he usually turns up the pace a little bit. So I'm not trying to be on an under if the Grizzlies are going to be sprinting. We know the shootouts they can get into. Also, what kind of pointed me towards an under were 2 elite rim protectors in this game, right? With Jaren Jackson Jr. And Miles Turner, also Bobby Portis. There's some interior presence. I guess I would lean Memphis. I kind of agree with it. Just got bought up to 5.5 in the last few minutes. When I was first looking, it was at 4.5. So it looks like we did see a little bit of a movement towards the Memphis side. I'm just a little worried about Ryan Rollins against the Grizzlies' injured-ass second unit. Because Memphis is so hurt right now. The second unit is going to come on the floor. Ryan Rollins is going to come in as a 6th man. He's averaging like 19 points per game. Like, Ryan Rollins is going to be the best player on the floor with the second unit. So I just think the Bucks will dominate those minutes. But other than that, this Bucks team isn't very good. I'll put Memphis up. This is another one that I don't have a ton of interest in, though. Should have grabbed that 4.5. Nah, actually, I like the Sixers better than this one. I like the Celtics better than this one. If I was to add more bets, it wouldn't be this one. Ja's always questionable. Well, he missed the last 4 games. He was playing the couple before that. I couldn't I read an article. I couldn't get a feel on it. With the NBA, it's tough. In the NFL, if you read an article, you usually come away with like a pretty good, like when I read an NFL article from a beat writer, I'll come away like, I'm pretty confident he's going to play, or I'm pretty confident he's not going to play. And you read an NBA article, you have no idea. Like, no clue. All right. Suns, Pelicans. So, all right. So the Pelicans had a little hot streak there, right? Let's give them some credit. There it is. 5 wins in a row, right? Zion back in the rotation. He's actually coming off the bench a little bit. They won 5 games in a row. Then they went on to Cleveland and got smoked. So that's where we're at with the Pelicans right now. 5 wins in a row. Then they went on the road to Cleveland, got blown out. I will say I kind of think Cleveland's back. I took Cleveland earlier today or yesterday, depending on you're watching this on Christmas. I think Cleveland's going to start coming around. I say the same thing with Cleveland every single year. They're a very streaky team. We know how good they are. They're around the 4 seed in the East. That's how good they are every year. They're just streaky. When they're hot, they'll go 20-2 in a 22-game span, and then they'll play 500 basketball for 2 months. That's just what they do. And then everyone always overreacts. When they're hot, they're like, Cleveland's the best team in the NBA. And when they're cold, it's like, blow it up. This team sucks. They're just a streaky team. I think Cleveland's fine. Haven't been healthy for most of the year. But anyway, at first glance, I was still thinking the Pelicans are a little undervalued here, catching 3.5, 4 points at home. The Suns aren't really equipped to take advantage what the Pelicans' biggest weakness is. What the Pelicans' biggest weakness is, or one of the biggest weaknesses, is down low defensively. The rookie they've got, Derek Queen, he's doing a pretty good job. He's a rookie playing center in the NBA, but giving up way too many offensive rebounds. So there's going to be a lot of pressure on Mark Williams. Mark Williams for Phoenix needs to exploit that matchup. And if we're able to see Phoenix grab these offensive rebounds, I would imagine they're in control of this game. The problem for New Orleans is the Suns have done a really good job keeping opponents out of the paint. Check it out. So just 4th in paint and shot frequency in the paint defensively in the last 10 games. They're not letting opponents into the paint. And that's all the Pelicans do is attack the paint. So they're putting pressure out there. They're not letting the Pelicans get into the paint and not letting them get into run their offense the way they want to run it. What the Suns have struggled with defensively is the 3-point shot jump shooters. The Pelicans don't take any. So I don't like this matchup for the Pelicans. And I also like how the the Suns are starting to see some ball movement. 35 assists on 50 field goals in that Lakers game. And Frank Vogel talked about it, the ball movement. And Devin Booker had 11 of those 35 assists, by the way. So it'll be Suns for me here. I think the Pelicans come back down to earth. -3.5, can you get? Yeah, no Herb Jones as well. Oh, I forgot to do thanks for reminding me. I forgot to do the So we got Gillespie, Booker, Brooks, Allen's out. O'Neal, yes. Mark Williams, yes. Dunn, yes. And this guy, yes. All right. Pelicans. Trey Murphy, yes. Sadiq Bey, yes. Queen, yes. Poole is questionable. I'm going to take Poole out. Murray, no. Zion, yes. Fears, yes. Jones, yes. Alvarado is playing, yeah. Oh, no Herb Jones. I'm sorry. Alvarado's playing. Gallons. So that's only 7. We need 2 more guys to throw in this rotation. Let's go Hawkins. And this guy plays sometimes. All right. So, yeah, look, based on this has the Pelicans favored because mine is weighted pretty heavily towards the last 10 games, and the Pelicans have gone through a little bit of a hot streak, but kind of like the matchup for the Suns. I'm not betting this one. Pistons, Utah. All right, we got Cade, Tobias, Duran, Duncan, Stewart, Thompson. Everyone except Holland is good to go here. That is 9. That's cool. And for the Jazz, obviously no Kessler. He's out for the year. But Markkanen is going to play. No Kessler. Markkanen and Nurkic are both going to play. They were both just out, so they're both going to play. Bailey, Collier, nope. Filipowski, Niang, nope. Kevin Love's playing. Sensabal's playing. That gives us 9. All right, cool. So, yes, we know the Jazz have been a bad basketball team. I don't necessarily hate this matchup for Utah. First of all, right off the bat, what's the first thing you see when you look at this matchup overview? Yes, we know that Detroit has been the more efficient basketball team than Utah, but look specifically down here. Last 10 games, strength of schedule, 24th for the Pistons to 4th for Utah. And you look at the recent opponents here for Detroit. You've got the Heat, who aren't playing well. The Hawks, the Bucks, the Blazers, the Bucks, the Hawks, the Celtics. Okay, that's a respectable one. Dallas is playing okay. Charlotte, Portland, Kings. They played a lot of easy opponents. Meanwhile, the Jazz just haven't. I mean, where are the Jazz easy games here? You got Memphis, Oklahoma City, the Knicks. Got some much tougher opponents here for Utah. So strength of schedule definitely favors the Jazz a little bit. But what I also don't like here for Detroit, so where the Jazz have gotten absolutely lit up defensively is from the 3-ball, just like last year and the year before. They're one of the worst 3-point defenses in the NBA. Detroit doesn't shoot any of those. One of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the league. All they do is attack the paint. Now, they're very good at it, and the Jazz also are pretty bad against the paint as well. In fact, a lot of their 3-point defensive woes have come from collapsing in the paint because they can't defend the paint. So by no means am I suggesting the Jazz can keep Detroit from getting inside and scoring. Of course, they're going to be able to, but just this blaring weakness for the Jazz. Detroit not really equipped to take advantage of it. Also, another thing Detroit is really strong with on the offensive side of the ball, they attack the point, they attack the paint, and they crash the offensive boards. They're arguably the best offensive rebounding team in the NBA. Well, Utah, especially when Markkanen and Nurkic are on the floor and they're both going to play, they're actually strong on the defensive glass. Utah might be able to keep the Pistons from getting those offensive rebounds. Look, it's the Jazz against the Pistons. By no means am I suggesting the Jazz are going to win this game or anything like that, but in the elevation, it's not exactly a perfect matchup for the Pistons. With Markkanen and Nurkic on the floor, I actually think they're able to be a little bit annoying. I kind of want to bet the Jazz here. Plus 9.5. I actually didn't look at the last game, which is Clippers, Blazers. Is Kevin Love still in the NBA? Yeah, he is. Yeah, sorry for the... I'm going to figure out a more crisp way to do the NBA stuff. I just had notes ready, so I was like, all right, screw it. I'll just go live and run through them. I'll figure out a way to do it where there's like graphics on the screen that coincide with what I'm saying and they're not super small. I'll figure out a cool way to do it. I haven't 100% decided how I'm doing NBA content yet this year, but it's Kyle, you're missing up so much good bowl money. Man, I looked for a few minutes and it was like I couldn't find anything. I don't like gambling for the sake of gambling. I like placing a bet when I perceive myself to have an edge, and I just didn't feel like I had anything. Not that I necessarily feel like I have an edge in the NBA right now, but I'm confident based on years past that if I just put the work in and learn as much as I can, gather as much information as I can, and keep looking at it every day, that it'll come, because it has come the last couple of years. So yeah, I felt like in my better long-term interest to get everything squared away for the NBA immediately. So yeah, everyone, thanks for watching. Tomorrow is Friday. Oh, you know what tomorrow is? Tomorrow is the last. Oh, I'm sorry. So Saturday is the last Saturday before we are into college basketball for real. For those of you that are newer to college basketball, man, the Saturdays, once we get into January, are awesome. You can place 50 bets. There's so many good games every Saturday once we get into January. So I always said college basketball before New Year's doesn't interest me. I get into college basketball once we get into January as well. So yeah, thanks everyone for I got to bring Ski and Chris back. Yeah, I got to get Ski and Chris. I've had like 1 or 2 NBA guests on all year. I haven't really done any NBA, so it's not like I snuffed them out or anything. I just haven't done it. But yeah, everyone have a good night, or good morning, I should say. It's after 4.